All right, now the news after weeks of fierce battles over tariffs and India's purchase of Russian oil. Washington now seems to be softening. US President Donald Trump and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi have agreed to resume trade negotiations, signaling a possible thaw in ties. Trump announced on social media, and I quote him here, "I am pleased to announce that India and the United States of America are continuing negotiations to address the trade barriers between our two nations. I look forward to speaking with my very good friend, Prime Minister Modi, in the upcoming weeks. I feel certain that there will be no difficulty in coming to a successful conclusion for both of our great countries," unquote. Prime Minister Modi responded shortly after, saying that he was looking forward to speaking with the US President and that the US and India are close friends and natural partners, unquote. But this softening did not happen in a vacuum. Far from it. Last month, the US blindsided India with punishing 50% tariffs on most of its exports to America. That percentage is higher than almost any other country. And the reason? India's legal and sovereign right to buy discounted Russian oil for its own energy needs. But the US president did not stop there. Trump and his aides warned of further levies to punish India, quote unquote, for what it sees as funding the Russian war machine amid the Ukraine war. With its oil purchases, Washington's tariff move was overreaching, completely unjustified, and entirely unwarranted. So India pushed back, asserting that as a sovereign nation, it can decide where and how it buys energy, standing firm on its policy of non-alignment and strategic autonomy. In the days after the tariffs were announced, Prime Minister Modi pushed for self-reliance, urging Indian businesses to put up boards of Swadeshi and Made in India outside their establishments. Not just that, he urged Indians to take pride in Indian-made goods and rather decried economic selfishness of the world. Then came the tax cuts, well, pretty much ahead of India's festival season to boost consumption. Prime Minister Modi also strengthened ties with China and Russia, up to those that US considers its rivals. Perhaps New Delhi sent a clear message. The pushback is now forcing Washington to reconsider its actions. You see, despite multiple rounds of failed trade talks, discussions between India and US have continued behind the scenes. Both the sides are keeping the door open, and experts say that Trump's shift reflects a realization that the abrupt punitive measures are straining strategic bilateral ties with India. But at the same time, he is also signaling to the European Union to take the lead in pressuring India and China over Russian oil. Trump has reportedly told EU officials that he is ready to join them. That is, if the European Union imposes sweeping tariffs on India and China. He thinks that this way, this strategy, it will pressure the Russian President Vladimir Putin into joining ceasefire talks with Ukraine to end the war. The US has told EU that it is willing to mirror any tariffs imposed by Europe. So at this point of time, and from where we are sitting, it looks extremely confusing. Well, that's the US President Donald Trump for you. Experts say that this strategy shows that the US wants the EU to take the next step while reducing America's immediate bilateral strain with India. Remember, the EU and India are also negotiating a free trade agreement, and reports say that officials are looking to lock such a deal by end of the year. So the bottom line is this: the US is not backing down from India completely, but the aggressive posture has been somewhat softened. It is less about punishment right now and more about diplomacy, signaling a temporary climb down, if you may, as a response to India's stern pushback, and also the strategic importance of this trade relationship between New Delhi and Washington, D.C. For now, diplomacy is taking center stage. Trump and Modi's agreement to talk shows that even in the midst of trade tensions, strategic partnerships and dialogue can win out over conflict. The next few weeks could define the future of US-India trade ties, and that we will be tracking very closely.